Some people say there's no such thing as absolute truth, or that you've got a truth for you and I've got a truth for me. Isn't truth relative? The problem about that is when you make a statement like that, you're actually contradicting yourself. If you say truth is relative, I want to say, well, is it a relative or an absolute truth that truth is relative? Because a lot of the time people haven't really thought about the fact that there's a contradiction in there. They're sometimes saying it's absolutely true that truth is relative, which doesn't make any sense. So I think it's far better that we should just accept that there is something called truth. Sometimes people say, well, I accept that there's truth in the world out there, but aren't our values relative? How can we say that they're absolutely valid? Of course, a response to that can quickly be, well, are you happy for, let's say, men and women to be paid different amounts for doing the same job? Most people will say they're not at all happy about that. But you could say, well, that's a value judgment that you're making. So most of us feel that there really are things that matter very much in the area of values, and that truth does matter. I find most people are not relativistic about their paycheck. So people believe that truth matters. And truth is something that we see so much in the Bible as something that matters. Jesus said of himself, I am the way, the truth, and the life. So he claimed to be the embodiment of truth. And I think that's a very exciting thing, because that means we can look at Jesus and investigate whether that is true. I don't think that truth is relative. I think that Jesus is the embodiment of truth, and you can look at his life and you can see so many signs of authenticity of that. I think it's a life that is predicted long before. There are prophecies in the first part of the Bible, the Old Testament, that really do seem to come true with the life of Jesus. And I don't think you can say that the life of Jesus was just made up to fit with those prophecies. That won't work. So I think there really is such a thing as truth. Now, some people would say, well, can't all religions lead equally to God? Aren't they all just like paths up the same mountain? And so when you look down from on top, you see that they really are leading the same way. Of course, that sort of claim can sound very generous, because it's actually saying that all religions are valid and all religions are true. But I think what it's actually saying is that all of those beliefs are actually invalid. It's saying that they're all wrong, because when, let's say, Christianity claims to be exclusively true, they're saying that isn't really true. And it's also the vantage point which is expressed in that idea. Someone's really suggesting that they are at the top of the mountain and they have the bird's eye view and they know what's true and false. And so the person who's claiming that is just claiming that they have the truest religion. Sometimes that's an atheist, sometimes that's a skeptic or an agnostic. The point is, they're saying, I can see that all of those different beliefs that people out there have are just relatively different ways of trying to reach the same point, trying to reach God. But actually, when you look at what Christianity says and you look at the claims of atheism or the claims of Islam or the claims of Hinduism, you will find that they are actually saying very different things. The best way to find out what Christians believe is to read the Bible. I'd suggest you begin with something like the Gospel of John.